Hello guys and welcome into second episode of the MoS series. This episode is about the data which you can gather in EXPA and understanding a bit what kind of things on measure of success can we see in our system. So there is few module of the system which you might be interested in. One thing is application analytics. In that screen you can actually see how many realization, how many complete and how many experience finished in certain period of time do we have. You can see it based on the products. So you can see that by this time we have 820 complete, meaning 820 people answer the survey of complete with a positive of minimum 14 standards. Which 14 standards you know it from the episode 1. You can as well see that, for example, if it comes to GE, we have currently 67 responses, and you can see which committee is that from the ICX side, and as well you can check by changing opportunities or people between ICX and OGX side. So those analytics can be very helpful. You can as well start checking local level opportunities and local level response rate. So you can see, for example, ICX in Lublin. If it comes to GV, they have only 3 completed, but 71 finished. So the response rate of that LC is quite low. And the second module which you can look at is standards module. In that one, you can see your own standards or your entity standards. So, for example, if I go and ISEC in Hong Kong, I'm gonna put myself as an ICX provider and see in all my exchange programs how do I do with standards, what are the current results which I can see with all my entity partners. So I can see that for example ICX in Hong Kong has very low response rate currently, but you can see that, for example, generally they're quite good in standards. There's very few no. You can as well see it from OGX side. So let's see China, mainland of China. If I go there and check the realization of OGX of mainland of China, you can see that the response rate is quite high, but you can see, for example, that some expectation settings are not there, some outgoing preparation, so I can actually understand what are the data coming from. Before I tell you how to check those 19, what's happening with that, I want to as well show you how to use that module for actually understanding your partnership data. So let's say the biggest partnership in the network is India and Egypt. So I put ISEC in India as an ICX committee and ISEC in Egypt as OGX committee. You can see that they realized total 787 people, not taken 45. Why? Because this data is shown from approval. So in this particular module, you see all the data from approval. In the previous one, you've seen only the one who filled all the 16 questions. Here you can see live data. Every few hours it's updated in order for you to show you the current answers of EP since approval till the end. And you can see, for example, that between these opportunities, maybe incoming preparation is such a problem, so maybe ISEC in India needs to start working on that. On the other hand, if you see Egypt and India, Egypt as opportunity committee and India, you can see that the scale of the partnership is a bit smaller, but the response rate is much higher. What does that mean? That means that India has started to inform their EPs way earlier, usually, about the survey which they need to fill, so therefore the response rate is more integrated into the answer. And you can as well see that, for example, they have some problem with outgoing preparation seminars, so ISEC in India needs to start working on that, but as well expectation setting, so ISEC in Egypt needs to start working on that. So this is how you can look at your partnership entity to entity data. But then if you actually are interested of what people are those 7 no's, so on and so forth, you go to this module called My Committee EPs application. So then you can see all the entities which are under you, so your LC statistics or your MC statistics. As ISEC International, I have global statistics. I put here mainland of China, and I put standards type field all, to actually see what are all the EPs from ISEC in mainland of China who actually filled complete survey. And you can see that some of them are stuck in realized, and you can see as well here by clicking just SNS the additional information about those people. And you can see that, for example, the first 2 people have 16 out of 16 standards. The next one is realized because the person did not click accommodation. So therefore, even if it's 15 out of 16, that realization will never turn into complete. There is unrealized because of personal goal setting, 13 out of 16, so on and so forth. So you can see that, and you can filter it by EP committee and by opportunity committee. So you can see all the data of each single one of your EP and understand what has happened in the journey of that customer in the real life. You can as well see it by, so this is after all the 16 were filled, but you can see them as well filled anyone. So basically at least one of this standards clicked yes or no, and you can see when was the realization date, what is happening there, and then understand that. So in this module, you can see the real-time analytics of every single EP and opportunity approved with that EP, and see what are the SNS, what were the mistakes, and how can you actually visualize that. So those are the few tricks which you can take a look during the MoS. And if you wonder how does it look from the customer side, then come to the episode 3 when we'll explain you how does it look from the Youth Opportunity Portal.